It's pretty obvious now that 6 and 7-seater SUVs are the rage now, and almost every manufacturer wants a piece of this segment. So we decided, why not pit together two of the oldest names in the segment. Our first contender here is the Tata Safari. It has helped reclaim many lives over the years, and now in its latest avatar is the most modern, advanced and flagship offering from Tata. Our second contender in this comparo is the all-new Mahindra XUV700. Now the XUV700, it replaces the XUV500, which when originally launched was a huge step for Mahindra in terms of design and technology. With the XUV700, Mahindra aims to set the bar even higher. So who will come out on top in this clash of the titans? Stay tuned to find out. But before we go ahead, help us help you choose the right car by supporting the channel. So don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe button. Also, before we go ahead, I'd like to say that our comparos are not just based on what we think or feel. We have an exhaustive 600-point system that we use to review our cars, and all the parameters of the cars are judged on the basis of this system. To know how the 600-point system works, you need to click on the link in the description below. So check out that link and see how we review our cars with that exhaustive 600-point system. Now talking about design, let's talk about the Tata Safari first. Based on the already good looking Harrier, the Tata Safari takes it up a notch. Now the Tata Safari, it's got all the ingredients that's needed to make an SUV look good. It looks butch, it looks aggressive, it's got massive presence and not to mention the right stance as well. In comparison, the Mahindra XUV700 looks a little less intimidating, but nevertheless demands plenty of attention. I just love how the design components stand out individually, like the unique headlamps, the strong shoulder line, the smart tail lamps, etc. However, when all of these components come together, I found the design a little too busy for my liking. But then design is a very subjective matter, and for me, it's the Tata Safari that walks away on the design front. Which one did you like? Do let us know in the comments below. Now let's get to the interiors. Now the moment you get inside the Safari, you know this is a familiar layout. The cabin feels bright and airy, and that's thanks to the large volume and the use of lighter colors. What also stands out is this floating infotainment screen layout. It looks very cool and it still looks very refreshing. But as they say, the God is in the details, and that's where the Safari loses some marks. You have a lot of scratchy hard plastics, which is of pretty average quality, and you can notice that it does not age well at all. Even the 8-point-inch infotainment system has massive bezels and now feels tiny. That apart, the display isn't crisp and the camera quality isn't anything to write home about either. Even talking about the instrument console, the digital part of it looks great with sharp graphics and colors. But the analog speedometer just gets a dim white light which just does not match with the digital instrumentation. Now getting into the XUV700 after the Safari, you feel like you've moved ahead a whole generation. It really looks and feels that well. What you can also not fail to notice is the inspiration from a certain luxury German car maker. But hats off to Mahindra for pulling this off so well. The dashboard layout looks fantastic, and while you already have soft touch materials on the dash imparting a premium feel unlike in the Safari, Mahindra has gone for glossy plastics all over. While they might be a dust and fingerprint magnet, they look and feel much better than what you get in the Safari. What also looks and feels brilliant is the dual HD screen which runs across half the dashboard. Not only does it get fantastic graphics, the touch sensitivity is pretty good too. The only grouse here is that it's not as intuitive to use as the Safari's infotainment system. Also in our car, Android Auto displayed a coming soon sign, which means the XUV700 needs an over-the-air update soon. So coming to who wins this round, it's a no-brainer and it goes to the XUV700. Alright, now let's talk about comfort and practicality. Now talking about the driver's seat, they're very comfortable, they hold you well. They're also 6-way power adjustable, so you can get to your driving position pretty quickly. You also get lumbar support here, which means driving long hours shouldn't be an issue at all. Alright, let's check out the rear bench now. Now getting into the second row, as you can see, you get captain seats here. This is a 6-seater. The captain seats are very comfortable. Traveling long distances shouldn't be an issue at all. You've got plenty of headroom. Knee room isn't an issue at all. What's lacking though is a bit of under thigh support. Had that been there, this would have just been perfect. What you also get is this boss mode. There seemed to be some problem with the boss mode, but what's supposed to happen is I push down on this lever and the seat folds ahead, so you get additional leg room when you're traveling here at the back. Now getting to the third row is quite a bit of a task. As you can see, these captain seats, they do not tumble forward. So the only way to go to the third row is by moving this ahead, folding it and going through the back, or going through these middle captain seats. Both of which aren't exactly comfortable, but once here it's not that bad for a third row. You've got plenty of leg room, you've got decent amount of headroom. Under thigh support could have been way better, but it's still manageable. Spending like a couple of hours shouldn't be an issue at all. The Safari's cabin scores well on the practicality front too. There is place for 1-liter bottles on the doors, and you get central storage along with a small amount of storage for the middle row passengers. The last row passengers get their own aircon vents with blower control, along with 2 USB ports on one side, along with a bottle holder and netted pockets on either sides. Pretty neat, eh? What we did not like, however, is the access to the USB and the aux port at the front, which is quite a fidgety affair. And what makes it even more difficult is that they aren't backlit, which makes it even more difficult in the dark. Boot space with all the seats up comes up to 133 liters. Now entering the XUV is a far more pampering affair, especially in this top end variant, which gets the courtesy entry affair. So the moment I unlock it, you can see that the flush door handles pop out automatically, and the moment I open these doors, you can see that the seat moves back automatically, so that it improves ingress and egress. Now talking about the seats themselves, these are more accommodating than the Safari seats. That's because they're larger, you get better under thigh support, and feel slightly more comfortable. Now like in the Safari, you get power adjustable seats. These get memory function as well, and you get lumbar support as well. So long driving again shouldn't be an issue at all. Now getting into the second row in the XUV700, as you can see, these are bench seats, and no, you do not get an option for captain seats because this is a 7-seater. Now talking about the seats, legroom, as you can see, is not an issue, neither is the headroom, and these seats are wide enough to accommodate 3 people comfortably. But like in the Safari, what could have been better is the under thigh support. Alright, let's check out the last row now. Now getting to the third row in the Mahindra XUV700 is a tad bit easier as compared to the Safari. Now the left side of the seat, now these tumble and access is much easier. Alright, once in, as you can see, it's not too bad, just like in the Safari. My knees aren't really pressing onto the rear bench, so it's not that bad. Width wise, it's about 10 mm more than what you get in the Safari. so two people can sit comfortably. You get your own aircon vents with blower controls. No USB ports, but you do get a 12-volt socket. Now the only problem here, unlike in the Safari, is that these are bench seats and they're quite high. It's almost at your eye level. This, along with the windowsill being quite high, it feels quite claustrophobic. Feels like you've been enclosed in a box. But apart from that, I don't think it should be an issue traveling about 2 to 3 hours in the last row of the XUV700. The XUV700 scores well on practicality too. Like the Safari, you get cup holders in the center, the doors can accommodate 1-liter bottles, there's storage in the center, and just a single phone holder for the middle passengers. Third row passengers, like in the Safari, get their own aircon vents with blower controls. However, no USB charging like in the Safari, instead just one 12-volt socket. Boot space offered in the XUV with all the seats in place stands at a measured 162 litres, which is almost 30 litres more than in the Safari. The XUV700 does offer better comfort, while the practicality on both vehicles is pretty much on par. Now talking about the features, the Safari was always a pretty well-equipped car. So you get a panoramic sunroof, powered driver seats, ambient lighting, cool storage box, auto headlamps and wipers, 8.8-inch touchscreen infotainment system with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, 9-speaker JBL system, and more. Also recently, in the wake of new competition, Tata has recently added a few features like air purifier, wireless connectivity for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and a wireless phone charger. On the safety front, the Safari comes with 6 airbags, ABS with ESP, disc brakes all around, hill hold control, hill descent control, and tire pressure monitoring system. Coming to the XUV700, it sets new benchmarks when it comes to features in its class. It has nearly every comfort and convenience feature offered by its competitors. But additionally, it offers a range of feel-good features, missing out on the likes of the Alcazar, Safari, and Hector Plus. So you get the awesome courtesy entry feature, dual zone climate control, panoramic sunroof, a massive 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, full digital instrument control with live maps, Adreno X connected technology, Sony sound system with 12 speakers, Alexa built-in, air purifier, powered driver seat with memory, reverse camera with park assist, and more. Talking about safety, Mahindra has outdone itself again. The XUV700 gets level 2 autonomous technology, which means you get adaptive cruise control, auto high beam assist, and traffic sign recognition. Add the multitude of airbags, stability programs, traction management systems, hill assist, etc., and you have a safety blanket that is just immense. However, the XUV does miss out on things like electrochromic inside rear view mirror, paddle shifters, and ambient lighting. But overall, the XUV700 has a feature list that's just too long for the Safari to match. Alright, let's talk about the engine and gearbox. Now, the Tata Safari, you just get one engine option. So you get a 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel that makes 170 bhp and 350 Newton meters of torque. Talking about the gearbox, you have an option of a 6-speed manual gearbox or what we're driving here, the 6-speed torque converter. On the go, this is a refined engine and there is plenty of torque on offer, which means you don't really have to rev it too much to get things going. The gearbox works well with the engine and responds well to throttle inputs. Depending on the situation, you can also choose between Eco, City and Sports mode. Talking about the figures, the Safari, even with its hefty 1860 kg curb weight, is no slouch. In Sport mode, 0 to 100 km per hour took just 11.05 seconds. And even in-gear acceleration from 40 to 100 took just 8.92 seconds. So can the XUV700 do any better? Unfortunately for the Tata Safari, it does. Now the XUV700, it packs in a 2.2 litre 4-cylinder diesel engine. And in this AX series, you get power in 2 states of tune. So with the automatic torque converter gearbox, you have 182 bhp and 450 Newton meters of torque. While with the 6-speed manual gearbox, you get 182 bhp with 420 Newton meters of torque. Driving it right after the Safari, it's just as refined, but definitely not as quiet. You do hear that grainy character of a diesel engine, but then it's not something that's bothersome at all. The XUV700 gets driving modes to choose from as well, and Mahindra has tried to deviate from the regular Sport Eco City terms. Instead, the XUV gets Zip, which is basically City, Zap, which is normal, and Zoom, which is Sport, where the steering weighs up and the throttle response becomes even more immediate. Getting to the performance, the impressive numbers hold their claim, and the XUV700 is just leagues ahead of the Safari. 0 to 100 km per hour was dispatched in just 9.3 seconds, which is unbelievable. And even the in-gear acceleration from 40 to 100 took just 7.16 seconds, which is almost 2 seconds quicker than the Safari. And this despite the XUV weighing the same as the Safari. Be it outright performance or in-gear acceleration, the XUV700 has tremendous performance on offer. Performance done, let's get to another important aspect: fuel efficiency. The Safari in the city managed almost 11 kilometers per litre, while on the highway the figure rose to almost 14 kilometers per litre. The Mahindra XUV700, on the other hand, managed 11.8 kilometers per litre in the city and an excellent 15.10 kilometers per litre on the highway, giving it the legs over the Safari again. Now let's talk about the ride and handling. The Tata Safari, like most modern SUVs, it gets a monocoque chassis to make it more car-like to drive. But even then, it still gets that jiggly feel that one associates with a ladder frame. You can sense the suspension being busy at all times, and while the ride quality is absorbent, we miss the smothering quality of the old car. The Safari feels a lot better when you just ignore bumps and take them at speed, thanks to the excellent damping on offer. The steering though left a lot to be desired. While it's light to use in the city, at higher speeds it feels vague off center and over-assisted at times. Chucking the hefty Safari around, you do get some body roll, but it's never alarming. Now the XUV700, it managed to surprise us on many fronts, and when it came to the ride and handling, it managed to surprise us again. What one immediately notices is that despite feeling a little stiff at low speeds, the XUV700 absorbs the really bad stuff with aplomb. In fact, it's set up so well that it offers an ideal balance of ride and handling. The handling is a pleasant surprise too, thanks to the quick steering and the well-judged suspension. The XUV700 does not feel heavy or cumbersome even during quick lane changes or charging hard through a corner. Just like in the Safari, there is body roll when you really push hard, but then it's never scary and one just needs to back off the throttle a tad bit. Top spec suspension setup and a more confidence-inspiring steering means the XUV700 takes home the ride and handling category as well. The Tata Safari, when it was launched, was very good value for money, offering plenty of features and not to mention a lot of car for the money. However, with new competition like the Hyundai Alcazar and the XUV700, its value for money factor seems to have gotten quite thin. Now, the Tata Safari in this XEA Plus trim costs 21.94 lakhs ex-showroom Mumbai. Now, in comparison, the XUV700 with more features, more technology, better fuel efficiency, better performance costs 21.89 lakhs, which is lesser than the Safari. That just makes it incredibly good value for money. Now, both these cars have plenty to offer, but what is that one thing that really makes them stand out? Now, with the Tata Safari, it's the design. Yes, I'm not kidding, it's the design. The Tata Safari really looks that good, and with the Indian consumers, design does matter a lot, and it's no wonder that the Tata Safari is so popular out there. Sadly, everywhere else, the Mahindra XUV700 has it beat. Now, with the XUV700, it was a little difficult to choose one USP because the car has so much to offer. But for us, its primary USP was the feel-good factor and the features that it offers. I mean, those things just really stand out for the XUV700, and I think that's its main USP. We absolutely loved the Tata Safari when it was launched. It made for an ideal SUV for the large family, offering fantastic design, lots of features and comfort. However, with the advent of newer competition like the XUV700 and the Hyundai Alcazar, it suddenly found itself lacking in a lot of areas. What doesn't help its case even further is that it's not priced any cheaper compared to the better equipped competition. Now, talking about the Mahindra XUV700, Mahindra has hit it out of the park with it. It might not look as good as the Tata Safari, but everywhere else it's just superior, offering more features, level 2 autonomous technology, better fuel efficiency, fantastic performance, and you get an all-wheel drive option as well. Now, talking about the winner of this comparo, no, I think it's pretty obvious that the Mahindra XUV700 is the winner of this comparo.